Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers. Yes, the cricket show unfortunately today is going to be starting with a sad news in the world of cricket. The former South African all-rounder, his name was Clive Rice, who actually has also captained South Africa, and he was the captain. He was the South African captain. As you know, South Africans, due to apartheid, there was isolation. They were out of cricket for quite a long time, and once that thing was broken, that was the time Clive Rice of South Africa was the one who actually led the isolation was broken. Clive Rice was the captain of the South African team, and he was the one who led the team to India back in 1991, as you would remember. So I'm talking about Clive Rice, the former South African captain and all-rounder. Unfortunately, has passed away at the age of 66 in a Cape Town hospital, which is very sad for cricket. As far as Clive Rice goes, and for people who don't know about Clive Rice, well, he was a wonderful all-rounder. He actually, at the age of 22, he was selected for the 1971-72 tour of Australia, and then we saw apartheid came in. It was cancelled, unfortunately, when he was selected for the tour of Australia, and after that it was a real hiatus for South Africa, as we saw almost, if I'm not wrong, it's almost 18 years that they were out of cricket. Such a wonderful team, such a talented team, and then in 1991 they made their comeback, and now we know how strong this South African squad is. But it was Clive Rice who actually led the team when the team came out of isolation. Now, looking at his first-class career, what one would remember about his first-class career is he used to play for Nottinghamshire, and he was partnering the former New Zealand pace ace Richard Hadlee, and what a pair they were for Nottinghamshire. When they were operating in tandem, the batsmen were really finding it difficult. He was a wonderful, he was a very, I mean, he was a person who was bowling, he's like a medium pace bowler. But if you look at his first-class career, well, he played for his South African domestic side, Transvaal, then he played for Natal, then he played for Nottinghamshire. Nottinghamshire was one he played a lot of things. In fact, he scored a lot of runs there. He made, I mean, as I said, he moved to Nottinghamshire in 1975, and also captained the Nottinghamshire team in 1979 and 1987. And he also led the Nottinghamshire actually win the title, the county championship title in 1981 for the first time, and also Nottinghamshire won the title in 1987 under Clive Rice's reign as the captain. So Clive was a hugely, I mean, he was a very, very inspirational figure, no doubt. His batting, he was more of a good bowler, I would say, but he was also a good batsman. Coming lower down the order, he could contribute some useful runs. He also could really play some good strokes, and he was a very handy fielder too. So, but unfortunately, this particular player, the former South African captain and all-rounder, Clive Rice, has passed away. So from the unfortunate news, let's get on to real business, and that is business, cricket business. Now, cricket business will start off with tomorrow. The third test match between Australia and England is once again going to start. As we know, now both are locking horns at Edgbaston at Edgbaston in Birmingham, and well, both the teams right now it's even Stevens, but Australia are definitely having the edge, because the way they humiliated England in the second test match to level the series was something which would have been talked about, because it was done in a very aggressive fashion, as Australia really came very hard on England. Now let's have a look. Now, first thing that I would like to talk about as far as the third test is concerned is let's talk about Australia first, and there is a big reason for talking about Australia. As you would remember, Peter Nevill, the wicketkeeper, who made his debut and had a wonderful debut when he picked up, he equaled the world record for the most catches behind the stumps on debut, when he equaled the South African, as you would remember. And what Peter Nevill has done is he has really won the favor of the selectors now, and he has been selected ahead of Brad Haddin. So Brad Haddin, it looks like Brad Haddin has probably or definitely played his last test match here. Well, he was going to retire, as we all know, but now it seems that Brad Haddin, the curtain has automatically come down on a wonderful wicketkeeper batsman, Brad Haddin, as I think that Peter Nevill has grabbed the chance with both hands, and the chairman of selectors, Rod Marsh, has hinted that Peter Nevill will now hold that position. So Peter Nevill not only did he impress with his wicket keeping in his first match, but also not only with his glove work, he also impressed with a bat by scoring, I think it was a 40 runs or probably a maiden 50. But all in all, Peter Nevill looks like taking that wicketkeeper position for Australia now on a permanent. Probably he's going to take that as a permanent slot. Now let's have a look at the Australian batting. Well, Australian, one thing, Chris Rogers, who has been feeling dizzy, and one was probably thinking whether he would play the third test. Well, all the suspense is out as Chris Rogers. He's going to be a part of the third test squad when they face against England at Edgbaston. David Warner is in some good form, as we all know. Stephen Smith, well, he requires another 74 runs to become the third Australian player to actually get on to a very good milestone, which has only been in the name of Sir Donald Bradman and Harvey, that is of 3,000 runs he is going to be scoring. In fact, what is going to happen is when he scores 74 runs in this particular match, he will be the third fastest Australian to the tally of 3,000 runs in Test cricket. As before, it has been done by two Australian great players. One is the late Sir Donald Bradman, and also it has been done by I think it is Peter Harvey, Neil Harvey. Sorry, Neil Harvey was a wonderful batsman from Australia, as you would remember. So he has done it. So this record is under threat now, in the sense that Stephen Smith can become the third fastest Australian to that coveted mark. Michael Clarke, well, there has been a lot of talk going on Michael Clarke, whether he's in some good form. He really was not so convincing against Derbyshire when the match was drawn. So one would hope that Clarke could show his full colour in this particular match. Adam Borges, well, he has been getting the opportunity, but he has not been able to really get on to a big one. Probably he would be eyeing something bigger than what he has done. He really did well against West Indies, as you would know. Mitchell Marsh. Now, Mitchell Marsh is always become the talk of Australia now, because for me, he's one of those budding all-rounders in this Australian lineup, and I mean, he has already showed what he can do with the bat and what he can do with the ball. Then the bowling will be in the hands of Mitchell Johnson, who of late has really got back his real, I would say he has got back his real form back with some menacing bowling. Mitchell Starc is another wonderful competitor, and it would be so good to see I mean, Mitchell Starc coming in as first change to bowl, where Josh Hazlewood has already proved himself, and he's turning out to be a wonderful bowler for Australia now. And Nathan Lyon's off spin will also be something which will be really looked at. Now, the other news, and then let's have a look at the England team. Well, as far as the England team is concerned, England would be led by Alistair Cook. Now, Alistair Cook, England has a job to do here, because after the very I would say real humiliation in the second test match, England would like to really get on to do some much better things than what they did in the second test. Adam Litt has been struggling. He has not been really amongst the runs. He has been snapped up pretty quickly, whether he can really turn his form in. But Ian Bell, now there's a big question mark over Ian Bell, and there's a lot of talk has been written, a lot of things have been written about Ian Bell, whether Ian Bell at his age is losing his reflexes, because if you're looking at his dismissals he has been getting clean bowled a lot of times. Now that really one would remember. It just brings me to one thing here about technique. We know Ian Bell has such a wonderful technique as far as cricket is concerned, and you would also it really takes me back to two Indian players who struggled and then it really brought their career to an end, and I'm talking about the great Sachin Tendulkar and the other batsman was Rahul Dravid. We saw that these two players who had some impeccable technique and never were getting clean bowled, I mean probably a very real rarity. They were great players, but we saw towards the end of their career how their career really petered towards a close as they started getting clean bowled, and that was the time I reckoned that their end is near, and that's what precisely I would compare that to the way Ian Bell has been getting out, and that is getting clean bowled, which is not something that you see with Ian Bell, because anyone who has a good defensive technique against the pace bowlers and against any bowler rarely gets clean bowled. And Ian Bell, for me, looking at the way he's been dismissed, I think it is really raising a question mark over Ian Bell now. He's not been amongst the runs too, so it's there should be high pressure now on Ian Bell. And Ian Bell, we all know Gary Balance has been left out of the side, so Ian Bell knows that there could be a noose hanging around his neck if he is to fail in this particular test match. So good luck, Ian Bell, but I have a slight feeling, a sneaking feeling here, that Ian Bell is past his prime, in the sense that his career is probably coming, because the way he's been getting out is giving me the feeling that Ian Bell probably is coming towards the end of his career. Joe Root, but good luck to Ian Bell. He can prove me wrong for sure. I'd be very happy, because I know Ian Bell is a wonderful batsman to watch. When he drives, it's really sweet music. Joe Root, well, he definitely failed in the second test, as you know, but you know Joe Root is not a person to be trifled with. You know what a wonderful player Joe Root is. Johnny Bairstow, in the absence of Gary Balance, he has won his place back into the side with some very good performances, even though, I mean, what England would be doing, they will have Josh Buttler as wicketkeeper, but Johnny Bairstow coming in as number 5 is going to greatly strengthen this England side here. They would need some aggression against the Australians, and that would come from Johnny Bairstow. Ben Stokes always has been aggressive, whether it be Australia or any opposition, especially against Australia. He really shows his real aggression there. And Josh Buttler also is a good batsman who really comes in and chips in with his gun. And look at the batting lineup of England, really bats deep down, with Moeen Ali coming in at number 8, and you know Moeen Ali, he's also a very nice player, really likes to play his strokes with a lot of punch at times. And then we look at the bowling. Now bowling, the batting is still there. Stuart Broad, Mark Wood has shown that he has some ability with the bat in the second test by clocking the bowlers. And then we also saw that Stuart Broad is considered as an all-rounder, and James Anderson is also no rabbit with the bat, as we have seen. So England really bat deep down the order, no doubt about it. But look at the bowling there, will be handled by James Anderson and Stuart Broad as usual, and Mark Wood will be supporting them, with Ben Stokes coming in and chipping in with his bowling there. So Joe Root also coming in and whirling his off spin to the Australian batsman. But as I said, after the humiliation they suffered in the second test match, it's England who are under pressure. Australia would be going in with lots of confidence in this third test match, but again, both are locking horns at 1-1 in this Investec Test series. So that is something that I wanted to talk about. Well, other than that, I'm just trying to see whether there is any cricket news that I could actually cover for you, dear fans and subscribers. And I'm also seeing that at Western ground it should be good for batting, hopefully. One has to wait and watch. And well, dear fans and subscribers, I think I'm almost coming to an end of this cricket show now. I'm just trying to see whether there is any news that I could share with you. One news that I would like to share is you know that the Dushmanta Chamira was very impressive against Pakistan. and Lasith Malinga is almost coming towards the evening of his evening of his glittering one-day international career, and we have seen that he has been taken for lots of runs. Dushmantha Chameera packs a lot of pace when he bowls, and he has been very impressive. He has hit a few batsmen too, so he has some real searing pace there, and unfortunately he is going to be out of the first test match against India, when the first test match will be played between India and Sri Lanka on August 12, which is pretty sad. I would have loved to see Dushmantha Chameera unveil his bowling against the Indians, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case because he is out due to injury. But yes, we'll definitely see, and the Sri Lankan experts say that he is going to be Champakar Manaike, the coach of Lasith Malinga too, has hinted that after Lasith Malinga this would be the best thing as far as pace would be. He said that this would be the best thing to happen for the Sri Lankan pace attack when Dushmantha Chameera takes his place. Well, dear fans and subscribers, I think the Cricket Happening show wouldn't roll on. It's all over for today. But yes, please keep yourself fixed for my next Cricket Happening show, and that will be tomorrow. It could be the first day's play in the third test match between Australia and England at Edgbaston. Until then, it's goodbye for the day. Thank you.